Ahoy! Welcome to our news channel from Czech Republic. Today we have a special program called Tech Talks on cybersecurity. In today's panel discussion, we'll be gonna talking about four types of cybercrimes.
Ahoy, Vishikni! So, for today's prestigious panel discussion, our topic, as said, is cybercrime. These days, where we receive millions of mails saying you want £200 or click to claim your free iPad, all of these are too good to be true, but some of them might be real. So, let's know what cybercrime this is and let's learn how we can keep safe from them and detect the hackers. So, let me introduce you to our bold team of cybercrime heroes, the phishing department. We have Ms. Shrestha, Mr. Tanish, Mr. Bhargava, Miss Maithili, and Miss Varnika. Starting off with the first question for Miss Shrestha, our esteemed HOD of the phishing department, who has worked very hard with her team to enhance the safety system for all citizens of the Czech Republic. A round of applause for her. Ahoy, Miss Shrestha. Can you inform us about what phishing is and the current phishing environment in Czech Republic?
Yes, thank you. As you rightly mentioned, Rishika, cybersecurity and staying safe on the internet is becoming a challenge for all of us nowadays. Many types of cyber attacks can be seen all over Europe and are starting to intensify. One of these types of attacks is phishing. There are a few types of phishing attacks too. Phishing scams are a persistent threat to users' inboxes. 41% of Czech respondents report to have been targeted by a phishing attack in the last 2 years. Phishing nowadays covers a lot more sophisticated attacks than those easily spotted. Employees are always the weakest part of cybersecurity, and that is why phishing attacks are still very successful. Recently, during the pandemic, the Brno University Hospital in Czech was hit by a major cyber attack. Hence, the Czech Republic's government constantly stresses on the importance of cybersecurity, forcing citizens to pay higher attention to different levels of digital protection. Fortunately, Czechia received the highest score among the Eastern European countries for technological preparedness.
Indeed, that is a scary situation in our country, but we are glad we have you and your team to protect us. Anyhow, let's move on. Thank you for that wondrous information, Ms. Shrestha. Next, we come to Mr. Tanish. Mr. Tanish, we have heard from Ms. Shrestha that there are a few types of phishing. Can we receive some information from your end regarding one of the types?
Yes, sure. I will be telling you about email phishing. Email phishing is a very common type of phishing and it's been used since the 1990s. Hackers send these emails to any and all email addresses that they can obtain. That email usually tells you to compromise to your account and that you need to respond immediately by clicking a provided link. These attacks are usually easy to spot as the English is not clear. It can seem that someone used a translation program and went through 5 different languages before arriving at English.
Thank you for letting us know about that, Mr. Tanish. That was indeed very informative. Going forward, Mr. Bhargava, will you please explain the situations where we can experience phishing?
There are millions of situations where phishing took place. For example, let us take our favorite entertainment example, movies. Movies means Netflix. It is such a popular website that it sells like hotcakes, but we can't really believe in them every single time. For example, when your account is on hold, please update your payment details. Hi dear, we are having some trouble with your current billing information. We'll try again, but in the meantime, you may want to update your payment details. So they are trying to indirectly telling us to breach our personal data like the passwords, payment accounts and other personal details. So better buy the packages instead of updating your payment details.
Very true, Mr. Bhargava. These situations are very relatable. We must be very careful. All the more, Miss Varnika, can you give us some more points on how to clearly detect a phishing attack?
Yes. Like Ms. Shrestha mentioned, a hospital in Czech Republic was phished during COVID-19. Do you know this could have been prevented if the attack had been identified before it was too late? You can identify a phishing attack when you see one. It's not difficult. Most phishing attacks demand urgent action. They normally have an unfamiliar greeting and they don't mention your name. They might have suspicious links and ask for personal information like login credentials, payment information, sensitive data, etc. Often, they have offers that are too good to be true, like huge discounts, free items, winning a lot of money, etc. They are sent by unknown senders, which might look like a company or person we know. For example, an email might look like it has been sent by a bank you use, asking to confirm bank details. Look carefully. You'll see there will be spelling errors. The logo will look similar, but it's actually not. And it will have some differences. These are the signs that you are reading a phishing email.
Thank you, Ms. Varnika. Now we have more clarity on how to clearly identify these attacks. Ms. Maithili, I've heard that the Czech Republic has taken different preventive measures to protect us, the citizens, from such attacks. Regarding this, may we hear how you and your team have set down some rules and preventive measures to protect the country?
Yes. As the 2020 was an online year, a lot of the companies were suffering from a lot of email threats. So, a lot of the companies in Czech Republic have changed their actions and many are training their employees from dangerous phishing attacks. We, the phishing team, have also started a new program called Be Safe from Phishing. Many of the citizens in Czech Republic have enrolled for our program. Because of our program, the rate of phishing attacks have also dropped down drastically.
Wow, that's really nice. I didn't know this. Thank you for setting these measures and keeping us safe. I hope our audience have received a lot of information on phishing. Thank you, Phishing Department, for gracing us with your presence here, and we really appreciate it. Passing the stage to Rajiv and the Farming Department.
Now we shall proceed with our next group of panelists. They are Ms. Tati, Ms. Manasvi, Ms. Sachi, and Mr. Rishikesh and Inesh. In 2021, around 40% of European citizens aged 16 to 74 had security problems, and 12% of all these cases were farming cases. So, Ms. Sachi, can you tell us what is cyber farming?
Sure. Cyber farming is a form of cyber attack in which the user clicks a fake website, disguises the real one, and ends up giving his or her details to the fake website. Cyber farming is very common in our home.
Well, thank you, Ms. Sachi, for telling us how farming is done. Now, moving on to you, Siti. Can you tell us how farming is done by changing the host file?
Farming attacks this process in one of the two ways. First, a hacker may send malicious code in an email which installs a virus on a user's computer. This malicious code changes a computer's host file to direct traffic away from its intended target and towards a fake website instead. Thank you.
Thanks, Siti, for telling us how attackers change your file and replace it with a fake one. Inesh, can you explain us in detail how farming is done by exploiting a server?
Farming is done by exploiting the server in many ways. Farming is done by changing the host's file on a victim's computer or by exploiting the DNS server so that they can go into the victim's files.
Thank you, Inesh, for the explanation. Now, Mr. Rishikesh, can you tell us how we can be protected from farming?
A good place to start is to install and run reputable antivirus and anti-malware security software with browser monitoring to help detect malware threats and protect your devices against emerging threats. But keep in mind, not all antivirus and spyware removal software can protect against farming. So additional anti-farming measures may be needed. Here are some anti-farming safeguards. Ensure you're using secure web connections. Look for HTTPS in the web address. Be cautious when opening links or attachments that you weren't expecting or that are from unfamiliar sender. Avoid suspicious websites. If you suspect you're already a victim of farming, you can try resetting your computer to reset your DNS entries.
Thanks, Mr. Rishikesh, for sharing the wonderful information with us. Now we know how to be safe in the internet. Now, Ms. Manasvi, can you explain us in detail what is the real meaning behind the name farming?
Yes, sure. Farming comes from the words fishing and farming. Farming lures victim with a bait and farms the information from them. That's why it's given the name farming. Hopefully, you've learned something new and will prevent yourself from being a victim of farming. Thank you.
Thank you, Farming Department, for the wonderful information. Now moving on to you, Rishika.
Oh, that was some really valuable piece of information, Farming Department. Thank you. Moving on, we have the Identity Theft Department, which includes Miss Swecha, Mr. Param, Miss Snigdha, and Miss Anvesha. Mr. Param, so once I heard from my dear friend that a hacker stole all her personal information and even hacked her. She lost money from this. Is this situation named under any cybercrime?
Yes, it is known as identity theft, and I am here to tell you what it is. From the name itself, you can understand that the hacker tries to hack your account and personal details like full name, password, birth date, credit card password, etc. This theft is committed in many ways by gathering personal information such as transactional information of another person to make transactions. A common way of identity theft in Czech Republic is skimming, which is misusing information from ATM cards and bank related information.
I really didn't know this. Thank you for explaining us, Mr. Param. Miss Anvesha, does identity theft have types? If yes, will you please explain to us what the first type is?
Yes, there are many types. Miss Rishika, have you done any online shopping?
Yes, I have done it many times since the pandemic. We can only do online shopping.
What? What platform do you shop in?
I use Amazon. This is where everything is found.
Miss Rishika, do you give mobile number, OTP, password, or your full name?
Yes, as they ask for it.
Yes. This is how they hack your personal data and password.
What? This is how they do it? I never knew that.
Well, yes. The first type of identity theft is character and criminal ID theft. So, character identity theft is when someone uses your another personal information like your name, identifying number, or credit card number without their permission to commit fraud or other crime. Committing criminal identity theft occurs when someone cited or arrested for a crime presents himself as another person by using the name of identifying information. In committing criminal identity theft, the one who stole the personal details may expose them to public and may be lost to the person.
Well, that's really malicious. Anyways, to the next identity theft. Miss Nigda, can you please explain it to us?
Yes. Well, the second type of identity theft is called social security ID theft. The government uses social security number to keep track of your lifetime earnings and the number of years worked. So, social security ID theft is where a dishonest person who has your social security number can use it to get other personal information about you. Identity thieves can use your number and your good credit to apply for more credit in your name.
Miss Nigda, can you tell us how social security identity theft can occur?
Oh, yes, Miss Rishika, that was an excellent question. They could gain your social security number by exploiting data breaches, sifting through the trash for personal documents, or using any number of other approaches. The thieves can then sell your identity to the highest bidder on the dark web.
Mr. Param, can you tell us how do we know if someone stole your identity?
If you want to know how somebody stole your identity, then you should track bills which you owe and when they are due. If you stop getting a bill, that could be a sign that someone changed your billing address. Review your bills, check your bank account statements, and get and review your credit reports.
Miss Rishika, did you know that these identity thefts can also occur in hospitals or healthcare services?
Really? I didn't know that. Can you please tell us?
Well, of course.
Medical identity theft is a fraudulent use of person's health insurance information to receive reimbursement for healthcare services. It is possible that both patients and providers may commit fraudulent medical claims, but information can also be stolen by employees or external hackers. Other times, the information is stolen by employees or external hackers to profit from selling personal identifying information.
Thank you, Miss Swecha. Anyhow, Miss Anvesha, will you please tell us the fourth type of identity theft?
Yeah, the fourth type of identity theft is driver license theft. Driver license fraud includes the use of another person's identity, the submission of counterfeit identity documents, and all other activities intended to obtain a driver license or identity card by a person or for a person who is not eligible for issuance of such a document. Did you know with that one card, someone knows your birth date, address, even your height, eye color, and signature? Your driver license number can be taken in two ways. First, it can be stolen through a database. Second, your license can physically go missing.
I'm so scared of this online world. I don't think it'll be safe now.
There is no need to be scared, Ms. Rishika. We will take safety measures to prevent it. My teammate Swecha will give some tips on being safe from identity theft.
Thank you, Miss Snigdha. Miss Rishika, have you ever experienced identity theft?
No.
Well, do you know what to do when you do experience identity theft?
Well, no.
Well, here are some tips. Do not carry extra credit cards, your social security card, passport, or birth certificate except when absolutely necessary. Install a locked mailbox at your residence or use a post office box to reduce the chance of mail theft. Pick up new checks at your bank and ask your financial institutions to add extra security protection to your account. Most will allow to use an additional code when accessing your account. Protect your social security number at all costs. Do not let merchants write your SSN on your checks. Request merchants to use other forms of identification. Never allow credit card numbers to be written on your checks, and do not use your birth date or mother's maiden name as PIN number or passwords.
That is really informative. Thank you for all those tips, Miss Swecha. I'm sure our audience and I will follow them. Thank you, Identity Theft Department, for the wonderful answers which will assure us that we can be safe from identity theft. Passing the stage to Rajiv and the Transmitting Virus Department.
Now we are going to be going with our last group of panelists, and they are the Transmitting Virus group. They are Mr. Srisharan, Ms. Dhruvika, Mr. Arav, and Ms. Suhani. Srisharan, what are the methods to prevent virus from entering our device?
Well, this all depends upon about how safe your computer actually is. If you have a strong password, a good firewall like Cisco, and an antivirus software like Norton 360, you are set. If not, then you better watch out.
That's interesting. The next question is for you, Ms. Dhruvika. How do you clean an infected file?
Oh yes, well, first of all, you'll need to restart your computer in safe mode. You can do this by changing the startup mode. Backup your files, download an on-demand malware scanner such as Avira. Then you'll need to display hidden objects in your computer. Then it's simple, locate and delete the file.
Thank you, Ms. Dhruvika, for sharing the information with us. The next question is for you, Mr. Arav. Why is it called as transmitting virus, and can you tell me how this originates?
Gladly. This all happens when we go to a website that isn't secure and open an email, or even when we get phished. The infected file gets into our PC and voila, the rest is history. This is a virus which has the ability to transfer from one file to another, infecting each one as it goes. Think of it as a video game boss. The more files he infects, the harder he is to defeat, or in this case, delete.
Thanks, Mr. Arav. Ms. Suhani, what are the estimated cases which happened in the Czech Republic, and what are they doing to prevent it?
In late 2020, the key national body overseeing cybersecurity was formed and was called the National Cyber and Information Security Agency. which was established in 2017 to increase focus on new and emerging threats. The numbers are uncertain, but approximately 34% people of the people have fallen prey to this virus.
These are some things I didn't know. Now that we are done with the panel discussion, back to you, Rishika.
Thank you for those answers, Transmitting Virus Department. That was indeed a very informative session. And dear audience, I hope you have learned something and we hope you have a safe experience online. Thank you to all the panelists and have a wonderful day, dear audience.